Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
All right. This is Changing Stage radio show powered by Intertalk Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in music business talk. We are at the NAMM 2016 Summer Edition here in Nashville, and it's just a beautiful day. I mean, I was told that it was going to be crazy hot. It hasn't been too bad here. A lot of excitement going on, new products, and incredible players and people, and hopefully good friends as we kind of move along here. One of the most amazing players I've been able to be introduced to, an icon in this business, the godfather of bass is here with me, Mr. Chuck Rainey.
Boy, you're very kind. Very kind. Thank you so very, very much. I guess my age, being one of the older guys, you know, like I like that godfather thing. However, though, I have a lot of godfathers in front of me.
Yeah, well, hey, there's been a lot of great players, but you definitely have played on some classic, iconic tracks, and I think it's huge that you are here for a couple of different reasons. You know, you have a new product line out. So before we jump into the history, let's start off with that. What are you showing here?
Well, we're in the booth, Rhythm Intensive. We're out of Roanoke, Texas. My partner John Martinez and Jane Chang. And what we do is we do educational seminars.
Okay.
And being that John and I are musicians, so of course we talk to high school and college band professors and their bands and their families.
Wow, yes.
You know, for clinics.
That is awesome. And we've got John Anthony here with us as well.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Yes, John, and this is your partner in crime right now, right?
Yeah. I'm in tall cotton, as they say, man.
So, this program that you're doing, how did that get started?
Well, the new product that we're launching is called the Tune of Success, and it kind of started when we started identifying that there is a lot of confusion about the music business.
Yes.
And whether or not that it's a viable thing to consider a career in recording. And how you can make money now with all the piracy thing or the streaming, and we're getting fractions of a penny on a stream, and
yeah.
And there are a lot of people who feel like the sky is falling, and we just wanted to encourage people to know that it's not over. Actually, every time a new destructive technology comes out, we actually make more money at the end of the day. You know?
It does. I think it's spread out a little bit more than it used to be, where a lot of artists are kind of sharing in it. And that's one of the things why we created this network, is because we realized there needs to be a hub for, the history, the iconic work, as well as the instructional pieces that are out there. And to be able to have a place where musicians can go to find out information. Used to be Billboard magazine was the place you'd go, right. And now Billboard's more about showing us, the consumer side of things. If you go there, and there really hasn't been an aggregate of the history, it seems like. So we created this network to talk to iconic players, to talk to the manufacturers about the gear that they're making, and really just to give a voice, amplify what we're doing. Now, Chuck, let's kind of start off with your history. I mean, I don't know if we have enough time in the day, because you've been playing for quite a while, and you've played on tracks from quite a bit of Steely Dan, which my partner in crime, Paul's going to love this because he's a huge Steely Dan fan. I am too. I'm nowhere near the fan that he is. He's like kind of fanatical about it. And you've played with obviously so many other players. Tell us how you got started in this business.
Well, I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, and in my town, it's more or less was an organ town.
Okay.
And before I left Youngstown, there were only two bass players that played the electric bass. I was one of them. The other guy was in a gospel traveling band. Other than that, it was all upright and organ.
Yeah.
And so, of course, that gave the band I was in a lot of attention because of the look of the instrument.
What was the name of the band, if you don't mind asking? Oh, man, that's
Actually, I was working with a guy named Luther Wells.
Okay.
He was the cousin of the legendary Junior Wells.
Oh, yeah.
And
historical.
We started out 3 guitar players. I was one of them.
Okay.
3 guitar players and drums. And Luther sang and played lead, and his wife played rhythm and background, and I played single note patterns and background.
Okay.
So finally one day the drummer said, "Why don't you get a bass?" I forget exactly what the situation was.
Yeah.
And so I talked my parents into giving me a bass, and an electric bass, and that instrument caused the band a lot of attention. So we went from Youngstown to Cleveland, where there were still, that I knew of, only 2 people that were playing that kind of bass.
Wow.
Of the electric bass. So you can figure out what the bass was, because this was 1962.
It's probably more than likely a Fender. I think that was about the time.
It was a Fender.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It was a Fender. I still have that bass. I retired it, but that's the bass that I used all my career.
Yeah.
That one particular bass.
Well, you've definitely played a lot of different pieces of gear, but you've got some great things that you've done. So you were doing this. You came out of your small town playing with Junior Wells, family member. Where did you go from there?
New York.
New
Actually,
York.
I went to Montreal. And I stayed in Montreal before I got to New York for about a year.
Yeah.
Thought I was in love, but I wasn't.
I think that's all of us, right? We all have those moments like, I'm going to change my life for this lady.
So I spent about a year in Montreal, then I went down to New York.
Yeah.
And just started getting into the environment in New York City.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I spent the next 12 years in New York.
Wow.
Before I went to Hollywood.
There's one player that you played with that is very inspiring to me, and I'm glad I got a chance to meet you. Betty Davis was an amazing. You played on an album, right, for Betty? I guess I was reading it wasn't released, but she was. I found out about Betty not because of before, but I was listening to a Pandora station, and all this great music was coming up from her. I'm like, who is this? And because she's one of those artists that didn't hit the mainstream, but she had such an iconic sound. It sounded relevant for today. I was like, this is a sound that I like. I'd like to have this kind of sound for the group I was playing in. And I looked it up, and lo and behold, Betty Davis was Miles Davis's wife.
Yeah.
And then you've played with her. We've had Alphonse Muzon on our show, and he's played, and just the sounds that you guys were doing at that time still relevant to today. And I think that's amazing that you're teaching the kids of today, how to still be musical, because it doesn't always happen that way now, with technology kind of being a little too, forgiving about learning your craft. I guess that's the way they put it.
A lot of these young people are playing for the audience.
Yeah.
Rather than playing from the heart with each other.
Yeah.
And we came up playing for each other.
Yeah.
I want to please him. He wants to please me. Rather before we please the audience.
Yeah.
And so that's old school.
Yeah.
Betty Davis was a very good. I remember that very, very well. Keg Johnson, who just recently passed, he produced that record, and we did that album in one day, on a Sunday. Wow. I forget what the label was, but she was very easy to work with, and I found her to be quite a lady.
Yeah.
I will never
beautiful
forget her.
From what I heard.
Beautiful. Definitely beautiful. But a real lady. That we all respected. My firstborn was with me.
Oh, wow.
All day. I had. I was babysitting.
Was it he or she firstborn?
He.
And was.
Excuse me. He was the second one. But my oldest son, I put it that way. He was about baby 3.
Okay.
So all day on Sunday I was babysitting. I forget where the wife was.
Wink.
But she was with me. I mean, he was with me, and it was all day session. I remember her. Of course, I remember the producer because he was a good friend.
Yeah.
But that was a good session. In my New York days, we did do a lot of projects quickly.
Yeah.
Because of budget, and if you have the right musicians, you can do a whole project all day. I mean, you can do one project in one day.
Yeah.
I worked with John a couple of times where we've done a whole album of something in one day.
Well, it said your style is like you play bass like you're playing the drums, which is something I could relate to.
Yeah. I would be a drummer if I were a bass player.
You know what? I wanted to be a drummer. I just don't have that dexterity to play, my all four limbs to do something different. One noted. Well, actually, with bass, you can obviously do chords and stuff like that. But I'm good with that. I can hit that note. So it definitely is there. Now, Anthony, John. I mean, I say Anthony.
That's all right.
So,
my mom calls me Anthony.
So tell us a little bit about your history. And I'm also going to double check the camera, making sure. I like to have make sure it's still going. So
that's cool.
Tell us a little bit about your history, and I'll be listening.
A little bit about my history. The grandson of a Puerto Rican Pentecostal preacher.
Oh, wow.
From the South Bronx.
Talk about some fire there.
Yeah. So that's how I got involved in music. I started out playing drums when I was about 5. Then I picked up the trumpet and then piano. And being in the South Bronx in the 70s, it's a real volatile and dangerous time.
Yeah.
There's a saying, the Bronx is burning, and it really was. About 30,000 buildings burned in that decade.
Wow.
High crime, a lot of gangs, prostitution, drugs. And so church was the one thing I could do to get out of the house. And music.
Yeah, well, Pentecostal churches, that's where the music is born.
Yeah,
bro.
and so, man, I think that's Chuck's musical background as well.
Yeah.
And so it kept us off the streets, it kept us alive, and it actually gave me the opportunity to get out of that hood and see the world and meet amazing people and be around guys like Chuck. And it's done a lot for me, and that's kind of what we're trying to pass on to the next generation. That Tune of Success, the book that we've got coming out, and the seminars that we do around the book, we're trying to help kids through music learn some soft skills. Like showing up on time and overcoming obstacles. Because, again, coming from Youngstown, Ohio, I've been there, and I've been to the South Bronx. There's not much difference.
There is.
Those are rough neighborhoods sometimes, and if you aren't given some kind of hope, you could think, man, I'm never going to get out of this situation. And it's kind of it's not going to lead to anything good if you have no hope.
Yeah.
And music and the things that you can learn, the critical thinking skills, the math skills, the science, the history,
keep
the literature, all that stuff, this is so deep. And you don't just have to play music. And that's what's beautiful about the NAMM show is you walk that this floor and you meet guys who, they came to it from the instrument, wanting to love, love to play or love to listen. And then suddenly they develop these products that are born out of necessity or born out of, they see a pain point and they solve that problem and they innovate. And there's all these industries surrounding music. Then we're trying to introduce young people into those little sort of sub industries that they might not be aware exist, and give them something to do.
I got the 3-minute warning there from your PR person. She's a sweet lady. I would love to invite you both back to kind of be on like a full call with us. Maybe even get you with a Jackie Bertoni or J.R. Robinson on one of their shows and talk about
Robinson, drummer.
Yeah. So he's
the man. He's the man.
Oh, he's amazing, and he'll be thrilled that he couldn't be here today because he's out doing other. He's got projects all over, but he does a radio show with us on our network. Jackie Bertoni, master percussionist, does one on our network as well. Our final thoughts from you on the NAMM show, and your product line, which is basically your education courses. Tell us, what are your final thoughts?
Well, this is my. I think now it's my 25th NAMM in a row.
Wow!
Actually, not in a row, but I've gone to 25 of them, especially the winter NAMM.
Yeah.
This is my 4th summer NAMM. Well, actually, it's my 5th because I've done it in Austin when they were doing it in Austin. And, of course, here since the Music Center, this new one opened.
Yeah.
And for me, it's great to be able to come here and see old friends that you normally would not see. Also, too, I'm akin to really wanting to keep up relationships with the people that I used to be endorsing. I use the word in bed with.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what's happening.
I know you got a lot of endorsers. Do you want to give any shouts out? I know that you can.
I want to give a shout out to thanks a lot for H.P. Wolfer at Warwick. A great man, a great friend, and a great supporter.
Bases and
just great.
And I love their amplification line as well.
Oh, yeah. And also to Exotic Toshio Horoba, the president of the company. They're out of Japan, but his distribution center is in Studio City in L.A.
Yeah.
A great man, great person to be around, and I've been playing the same string for almost 50 years, Labelle.
Oh, yeah, Labelle.
So very thankful to Labelle for hanging with me for so long.
Those are my strings too, man.
Oh, yes. Great company.
Yeah,
great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
Well, like I said, there's never enough time at one of these shows here, and we barely got to the surface. We just scratched the surface. These kind of shows, I usually like to have an hour. Or with Jackie's show, he does 2 hours talking about the history because, there's so many things that, just hearing what you and John are doing to build your program as well as your history and everything that you've done. I would love to have you come back on, and then anything that we can do to help your program. That's our mission is very similar to NAM's. It's just to spread the word, to get the word out, get more people playing, get them playing instruments organically, to get that musicality back in the lives of the people, and then be able to express that and share that with the people who are music aficionados. So we'd love to have you back on.
We'd love to come back on. I tell you, we're hustling the right way. The one thing, we have a great friendship. We got a great company. I mean, our company, we have great people in our company, and that's one thing to be thankful for, because a lot of companies, when they first start, we're just 3 years into this.
Yeah.
And you have working with people sometimes that you have to really work with, if you follow what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we have great people in our company. They're great partners. It's a pleasure to come here with John, and also to Anaheim. Okay. And so we're doing very, very well. We love each other, and we're pushing for young people.
Well, Chuck, John, you've got a new partner with Intertalk Radio. We're as we get coined quite often, we're the voice of the music business, and I'd like that voice to be able to amplify all the things that you're doing, and be able to express that to the world, and especially to the music business, because people need to know that there are great programs out there to get our youth educated, and then anything that we can do. We're in Southern California, so I don't know what neck of the woods you folks are at.
We're in Texas.
Texas, what part?
The Heart.
Okay, so what's that? Oh, DFW. Okay, because I've heard people say the Heart. Austin's, the Austin.
No, Dallas-Fort Worth is the Heart. You look at the map. Dallas-Fort Worth is sitting right in the heart.
Yeah. So I got that note that you're ready for your next. Hey, let's do it. Have you come into the station?
We are coming to Southern California.
Which part?
L.A.
L.A. Okay, so we can come up there. We've got places over there as well.
Where are you?
We're in San Diego, so we got.
Love San Diego.
Such ugly weather for us down there. I'm joking. Why do you think I went down there, man? And then we're broadcasting out of there. Chuck.
Man, thank you so very, very much, man. You've said some very nice things up to me, and I thank you very, very much.
Well, there's more I could say. And John, thank you. And I think you guys are on to the next interview. So have a great one, and best of luck on all your endeavors here. We look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.